Hollywood before the talkies. Imagine not just silent films, but an entire culture right there on the brink of massive change. And that's where we're diving in today,
1928.
with a film called Show People as our guide.
And this isn't just any old film.
Yeah.
This one is really something special, like a time capsule. It's like someone who knew all of Hollywood's secrets decided to leave us a message, and we're going to unpack it from every angle. Don't you worry. We've got articles from Cineast Magazine, Obscure Hollywood, even its Wikipedia entry. Got to make sure we're thorough.
Yeah. It's really like piecing together a puzzle, but instead of some boring old landscape, it's flapper dresses and scandals.
Oh, yeah.
And the dawn of the Hays Code. Speaking of, can you imagine the impact of the Fatty Arbuckle scandal? That's not just some juicy gossip. That shook the industry.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, that was huge. That was a major turning point for Hollywood. For those who maybe aren't familiar, the scandal revolved around accusations of manslaughter against Roscoe Fatty Arbuckle, who was, you got to understand, he was one of the biggest stars at the time.
Huge.
Huge. And the trial, though he was ultimately acquitted, it really cast a long shadow over everything. It fueled this movement, this call for censorship, for stricter morality in films.
Right.
And that ultimately paved the way for the Hays Code, which, as we know, completely changed how films were made.
And it all went down just as Show People was being filmed.
Oh, wow.
So you see how the film captures this mix of freewheeling energy and nervous anticipation, like what's the future going to hold?
Exactly, yeah. It does. And you know what? At the center of it all, you have Marion Davies, a true comedic genius. But sadly, today she's often overshadowed by the whole Citizen Kane connection.
It's sad. It's true.
Yeah.
Because she was a star in her own right.
Yeah.
Big time.
Yeah.
And Show People is considered by many to be her best work.
It really is something. And I think what makes Show People so fascinating, and Davies' performance in particular, is how it satirizes the world she was navigating. She plays Peggy Pepper, this small town girl, total dreamer, wants all that Hollywood glamour, but of course she stumbles into slapstick comedy first.
Classic.
But we follow her transformation as she tries to reinvent herself as this more serious actress, Patricia Papor. And in a way, it mirrors Davies' own career. It really does. And all while taking these jabs, these really clever jabs at the industry's obsession with Europe, with sophistication.
Well, you got to remember, in the 1920s, having that foreign flair, that was it. That was all the rage in Hollywood.
Oh, absolutely.
And Show People, it plays with this through the character of Billy Boone, this custard pie artist who helps Peggy break into the business.
Oh, yeah, Billy Boone. He's great. It's such a clever way to explore this real contrast that existed. This raw talent, this genuine, ability versus these kind of manufactured personas. And the custard pies themselves, even those become symbolic. They really do. They highlight that difference, between the raw physical comedy that Peggy starts with and the more refined, almost, well, I don't want to say fake, but less authentic world that she's trying to break into.
Yeah. And it's not just the custard pies either.
Yeah.
There's that scene, where Peggy, she's all done up as Patricia Papor now, trying to film this dramatic close-up.
Right.
But you've got that seltzer bottle going off in the background.
I love that scene. Classic. That's slapstick intruding on high art at its finest. And Davies, you can just see her. She's trying so hard to keep a straight face.
Brilliant.
Brilliant physical comedy.
It really is. It makes you wonder, though, how much of that was intentional and how much was just, the chaos of early filmmaking.
Right, because you never really know. That's what's so fun about Show People. It gives us these little glimpses behind the scenes, a peek at how they did things back then. For instance, you mentioned the seltzer bottle scene. Did you know that was actually supposed to be a pie in the face?
No.
Are you serious?
Dead serious. Apparently, William Randolph Hearst, who, as you may know, was involved with Davies in real life.
Right.
Well, let's just say he wasn't too keen on seeing his lady love get a face full of pastry.
So they went with the seltzer bottle. It's amazing, how these little details can completely change how we understand a scene. But speaking of details, we can't forget about those cameos in Show People.
Oh, man.
It's like a who's who of silent film stars.
It's true. We're talking Charlie Chaplin.
Twice.
First, he's just himself, mobbed by fans. But then later, he pops up in this hilarious disguise as a film extra.
Don't forget Douglas Fairbanks.
Oh, how could we? The king of swashbuckling adventure himself. He appears as, what else, a dashing pilot.
And William S. Hart?
The grizzled cowboy star.
Of course.
I mean, it's almost overwhelming. The sheer star power they crammed into this one film.
I know, right?
And it wasn't just the big names either. I mean, you've also got appearances by stars who were huge at the time, but today, most people wouldn't recognize their names.
Forgotten?
Like Mary Murray and Norma Talmadge.
Yeah.
It makes you think,
Yeah.
about how fleeting fame can be, even in a world obsessed with glamour.
It really is. Like, it's this reminder that Hollywood, even back then, was constantly reinventing itself.
Yeah.
Today's icons are tomorrow's trivia questions.
It really makes you wonder, like, if show people were made today, who would those cameos even belong to,
Oh, man.
Would it be, like, today's A-listers? Or would it be those internet personalities everyone's obsessed with?
Now, that's a fascinating thought.
Right.
Imagine, like, a modern-day Peggy Pepper trying to navigate, like, the world of viral videos and cancel culture and those social media scandals.
Oh, yeah.
All while trying to make it as a serious actress.
Right.
Instead of dodging custard pies, she's dodging, like, paparazzi and hate comments.
Totally. And then, like, instead of Chaplin and Fairbanks, we get, like, famous YouTubers and TikTokers popping up in the background.
I know.
It's wild to think about how much has changed, even just since 1928.
I know. But here's the thing. Show people, it still resonates. It was a hit in 1928, obviously, but it continues to charm. It continues to entertain. I mean, it even earned a spot in the National Film Registry.
That's huge.
Huge. Why do you think that is? What is it about this film, almost a century later, that still speaks to people?
I think it's that universal desire to peek behind the curtain.
Yeah.
To understand, like, the magic of Hollywood, but also the madness, and show people. I mean, it doesn't hold back. It's poking fun at all the excesses, all the absurdities.
Totally.
But it also captures that allure, that ambition, even, dare I say, that innocence of those early days.
Yes.
Like before the talkies, before the scandals, before the A's code.
Yeah.
It was a different world.
It's a good reminder, I think, that while the technology changes, while the trends change, the human stories, those are timeless. The dreams, the heartbreaks, the triumphs, the tragedies. I mean, that's what Hollywood is all about, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
It makes you want to, like, dig even deeper. Find those hidden gems from the past and see how they connect with us today. Because if a seltzer bottle can tell us so much,
I know, right?
imagine what other treasures are waiting to be discovered.